The past couple NFL drafts, ever since about 2020, have been absolutely stacked classes at receiver, and this year in 2022 is no different, with the likes of guys like Garrett Wilson, Jahan Dotson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams. There's a bunch of guys that could go in the first and second round. There could be upwards of maybe 15 receivers selected in the first 2 rounds. Or at the very least, there are 15 guys that are worth potentially taking in the first 2 rounds. But throughout my scouting so far for this class, which I've been doing for about a month now, one certain receiver has stood out for me, and that guy is Christian Watson. Now, if you're a North Dakota State fan, or you're big into the NFL draft, or you've been paying attention to the NFL Combine the past couple of days, you probably know who Christian Watson is. But for those of you who don't, I'll fill you in. He is a 6'5" receiver out of North Dakota State. He was Trey Lance's #1 option while he was there, and he not only is super tall at 6'5", but this guy's an absolute burner. He just ran a 4.36 at the Combine. You don't find guys like that just lying around that are that big and that athletic. And throughout my film study on Christian Watson so far, he's amazing all around. Size, speed, the yards after catch ability is very good. Separation is there obviously because of the speed, but the one main thing that he needs to work on really is his polishing of routes, and that's what people are really knocking him for in this draft cycle. Now yes, Watson for a long time was not a very good route runner at North Dakota State, but this past year he showed a lot of improvement in that area. It seemed to be through his 2021 tape, he was a lot better of a route runner, and you could see at the Senior Bowl, he had somewhat polished routes. He definitely still doesn't have a very diverse route tree, but that's something that can be worked out in the NFL with coaches. I would also love if Watson was able to develop in the right scheme. I think San Francisco would be a perfect fit. They have a guy like Brandon Aiyuk that could play in the slot, so him and Deebo Samuel could play on the outside. Plus, he worked with Trey Lance before in college. That was his #1 option in college, so you have some chemistry there, and I think that would be a great offense for him to run in with Kyle Shanahan. And based on what I've told you so far, you probably think, oh, Christian Watson, he's probably going to go mid to late first round, maybe early to mid second round at the very worst. But that's not the case right now. For some reason that I can't really figure out, Christian Watson is projected to go in the 3rd round, and at the very earliest, the late 2nd round by most people. Now, like I said earlier, this is an amazing wide receiver class. There are a lot of guys that are top 64 player caliber. However, Watson is one of those guys that I think is 100% a top 40 player in this class. Right now, I have a late 1st round grade on him, so he's around 25 to 30 for my top players. I obviously haven't done a full big board yet. I'm still evaluating prospects. The draft is about 2 months away at this point. But right now, I would probably draft Watson in that late 1st, early 2nd round range. And if you're getting a guy like that in the early to mid 3rd round, that's an absolute steal. Another issue that's been cited with Christian Watson is despite being pretty big, he's not really good at contested catches. However, in my opinion, this is a guy that I'm not expecting to really make contested catches based on his speed. I think he can just absolutely burn corners, and he's going to be able to get a lot of separation, so asking him to make contested catches in the NFL is something that if I'm an offensive coordinator or a coach, I wouldn't necessarily do. I would scheme him more to be like a Tyreek Hill type receiver. And I know comparing him to Tyreek Hill is weird because Tyreek Hill is very tiny, he's very big, but they're both very, very fast. I know Tyreek Hill probably runs like a 4.2. He's the fastest player in the NFL, basically, but 4.35 is still extremely fast. Another team I think Christian Watson would be perfect for in terms of draft value and where they pick is the Detroit Lions. If they can get him at pick 66 in the 3rd round, that would be amazing because they still need a wide receiver 1. Amon-Ra St. Brown was very good this past year, but he's more of a slot receiver. They don't have any great outside receivers. Josh Reynolds is not the player that he used to be. And we have no idea if Josh Reynolds is going to come back. I don't know what Detroit is going to do in free agency, but if they decide to sign a wide receiver 1 like Mike Williams, you have Christian Watson at your wide receiver 2, Amon-Ra St. Brown at your wide receiver 3, maybe get Malik Willis to sit behind Goff for a year. That's a very promising team. So pay attention to Christian Watson in this draft cycle. His lack of a very complex route tree and his inability to make contested catches is being very overblown right now, and that alone should not drop him from being a mid to late 1st round prospect into being a 3rd round prospect. You do not let someone with this much of athletic upside fall to the 3rd round.